Hey everyone, hope you guys are doing well. We're back with another What Sold. This is 3 more days of sales on eBay here. Some pretty cool stuff. Hopefully you guys will enjoy and find something new or cool that you might be able to look out for, or something to avoid like the plague. Either way. I want to also say sales are picking up for me in general on eBay. I know these are about a month ago, but sales right now have been kind of picking up steadily. So I'm hoping we'll all see that trend as we move into October, November, into that fourth quarter. Hopefully we'll see some more and more sales. So if you guys are out there and you're getting a little discouraged, just hold on tight because pretty soon it should pick up for everybody. I also am going to answer a question at the end about white backgrounds and why I don't use them and kind of my logic behind it, or at least what appears to be logic in my mind. So, and we'll answer that question at the end. So let's get into it though. What stole was Need for Speed Most Wanted for the Nintendo GameCube. This came in the big video game buy where I bought all that stuff from that lady. In the video, I kind of had the garage sale video on there. This one sold for $27 shipped, which is a pretty good deal for a used game. Here's a Reader's Digest Merry Christmas Songbook from 1981. I bought a bunch of songbooks. I told you from an estate sale before. I got them with the external hard drives as well. This one was $30 shipped, which was pretty good. I've done really well on some of these old songbooks. I'm very happy with them. They go medium mail shipping, so pretty good there. I wouldn't go spend a bunch of money on them, but if you see them at an estate sale for $1, 50 cents, something like that, they might be worth your time. The original Jazz Masters 5 CD set sold for $10. It was not worth a whole lot. It came in a big lot of CDs that I bought. I listed and it finally sold. It was up for quite a while too, so I was happy to get the $10 on that. Here's a Super Smash. This is a Super Smash Melee, the bestseller edition case. And little manual only, but the manual is actually missing the front cover or a couple pages there. This still sold for $16 shipped by itself, and it went global shipping program, so I was surprised that this ended up selling for that much. The price was a little high, the manual wasn't great, but I was happy to get it out of here. I do sell cases by themselves a fair amount of time. If you can find a nicer or more valuable game, usually the case has some value too, so it might be worth looking into. Here's United Methodist Book of Worship. I bought a bunch of Methodist hymnals and different things like that, Bibles, that were at an estate sale. They were all $1 each, and this one sold for $27 shipped, and it sold very quickly within like a week or so. Cactology, the Cactus Collection CD, sold for $13.49. This CD took I think it was sold 10% off is what it sold for. It's from the Rock and Roll Buy. I thought I had another one because someone messaged me and wanted this LFA that already sold, and I said it did, but I think I have one more, but I can't find it. So I don't know what happened. I thought I had two, but apparently not. And actually, this item, I think, ended up getting a negative feedback on to the buyer that bought it. The buyer said there is a sticker on the top of where it has like the name of the artist or whatever, and the buyer ended up saying that it was in horrible shape. And I'm like, no, it wasn't. Like, you can look in the photo, it's pretty good. There's no cracks or anything like that. The CD's in good shape. I messaged the buyer, nothing. You know, eBay won't do anything about it because it's there. They said it's his opinion or whatever about what happened. I have free returns set up. I said, hey, just return it back if there's an issue. Sometimes it looks like he's a big CD buyer, so sometimes they buy a bunch. Maybe they got it mixed up or whatever, but it is what it is. I wasn't really thrilled with that. I don't really agree with someone just leaving a negative without reaching out to the buyer. I think there should be a requirement from eBay for them to reach out to the buyer first, try to resolve an issue. Give us the chance, if we did make a mistake or if there is some kind of issue, give us a chance to resolve it. And if we can't, then leave a negative feedback if it's not resolved. But if we're able to resolve it, we should get a shot to do that before you just go and put it on there. But again, negatives don't, on a smaller account with low feedback and you're starting off, yeah, you don't want any negatives. I have enough where it doesn't really deter sales, I don't think, but I still don't like having them. So it is still up there if you check my feedback though. Here's an Applesauce Fairy. This is one of those little kitchen fairies. This one sold for $30. These are my friends. I've been selling them for her. Most have sold for about $30. They're only like this big. They're just little figures, but $30 on that one. And the same buyer bought this Take a Break one for $33. This one was a little bit harder to find. I think there were less listings of it up, so I upped the price, and the person bought two of them together, and that one sold for $33 shipped. So look out for those little kitchen fairies. They're by Unesco. I've never seen them before this, but I've never really looked for them either. So now I'll know to keep an eye out. Here's one of my favorite ones, Star Wars Chewbacca liquid blue all over shirt. It's got the big old Chewbacca logo on the front. It's a size 2XL, which is even better because you don't find those size shirts anywhere, or you don't find that size usually when you're looking for like old shirts. A lot of times you get larges, extra large maybe, or medium, something like that. So the 2XL was awesome. I paid 50 cents for this at a garage sale. It was like more of an estate sale, I guess. The family was running. In the back porch, they had one little rack of clothes. Most of them were women's clothes, but in there was this shirt. I just scanned through real quick, found the shirt, saw the liquid blue first because I saw the tag, then I saw it was Chewbacca, and I'm like, well, I have to get this. Asked her how much. She said all clothes are 50 cents. I'm walking around, I buy a couple other things, and the son comes out and he's like, oh, I would have kept that shirt. And I'm like, oh, did you want it? And I offered it to him, I'm like, well, if you want it, it's cool, I understand, it's it's your family shirt. And he's like, nah, it's okay, just take it. So I was happy, and then I took a best offer of 100 shipped on this. It was up for a few months. I had it listed at 150. I really wanted $100 at least on it, just because it's so cool. Otherwise I would have kept it for myself, but $100 there, awesome deal. Velvet Goldmine. This book sold for 18 shipped. That's from the Rock and Roll Buy, just a little paperback book. Don't know why it was so valuable, but 18 bucks is awesome. Here is a Homeonics Therapy magnetic system. This is not a good picture. You can see the shadowing. I don't even know if my lights were on right for this one, but it's a horrible picture. But it's a great system. I got it for $5 from one of my sources when he bought that storage unit with all the brand new type stuff. This one was brand new in box, open box I should say. It sold for 90 shipped. So 5 into 90, I think it shipped for around 12 bucks or something like that. So awesome deal on that. Here's a Chris Barnes bowling bobblehead. Got this for $3.99 at a thrift store. I took a best offer of $40. It ended up having apparently a little crack on the back that I didn't see that they said was repaired, but you could still see it. I think we ended up agreeing on like a $10 refund or something like that on this one. I missed it. The buyer kind of at first threw a fit when he messaged me about it, but then I told him I didn't see it. I don't even see it in the photos, but now he's showing me a photo when it's there. I can definitely see it. I apologized, and we offered a little refund, and he felt okay with that. So still made good money even with the refund, but definitely overlooked on my part. Did not leave me negative feedback, though. Was happy with the resolution, so that was cool. A couple of Madden games, Madden 16 and 17 for PS4. These ones, not really worth a whole lot. I allotted them together. They've been up for a long time. They finally sold for $7.19 on sale, so not really much profit there. Along with this one, this is a Looney Tunes Space Jam Taz plush. He sold for $6.74 on sale, so we didn't make much money on that one. If you get those Looney Tunes, the Space Jam ones, it's better off you have a couple of them. You can lob them together and then get a little more money. But yeah, $6.74, not so great. Here's a Redman Docs the Name cassette. This is from the Hip Hop and Rap cassette buy. It sold for $12.74 on sale, so pretty good deal there. This one, I think, ended up having a broken case, so I put it in another one because the original case was broken. This is cool. It's a Almazetta Casey puppy sheepdog, like a sculpture thing. I found this for I think $5 at a garage sale. I also got a bunch of cats and stuff there. It had its original tag with it. I looked up the name, and there were some selling for 50, 40, all kinds of like prices around there, but I couldn't find this sheepdog, and so I didn't list it for a while because I wasn't sure about it. Then I finally found someone had listed theirs, I think for around $100, and so I listed mine for around 100 or best offer, and it's been up for probably over a year now. I would guess maybe even almost 2 years. It's been a long time. I've had some offers of 30 and 40, but I didn't take them. Finally took a best offer of 75 shipped. It wasn't really the most beautiful figure in my opinion, but I'm not really, I wouldn't say I'm an art connoisseur or anything like that, or a sculpture expert, but I thought it was kind of not so aesthetically pleasing. But I guess if you're into that, $75 shipped. Exhibit at the Speed of Life sold for $24. That's a cassette. Got a best offer on that one, so super happy. Had it listed at 40, but if the comps weren't great on the cassette, I would list high and put best offer. That way I could just feel out the offers, and I felt $24 was fair. Also, I think the same person bought Common. This is One Day by Common. This cassette sold for $12.74. I'm pretty sure they bought them both. Here is a Lencore Spectra. It's like a little sound masking unit. I actually had two of these. The buyer bought them both for $65 each, so $130 shipped. They came out of a big buy from Storage Unit Guy. This happened during quarantine, right when quarantine first was about to go through. He wasn't going to have any more sales for a little bit, so he invited me to come down and look at what he had, and I spent like $350 one day, and then I came back the next week and I spent like $340 or $360, something like that, around the same price. One of those, I bought two of these Spectra units, and they sold for $130 shipped. So they did cost, I want to say, like $17 to ship them. They were a little bit bigger, but still, for what we had into them, it was definitely a good deal. Some Buzz Cola. This is a 6-pack, a little Simpsons movie Cola cans here with like the little plastic thing that holds the six pack together. They sold for $44.99 on sale, so a pretty good deal. Disney, Mickey, and Pluto cookie cutters. These sold for $6.39. Again, not a great buy. I bought a bunch of cookie cutters for $10. There were some other ones that sold better, but these two only got $6.39 for. So we made a buck or so on them, but not much. Mighty Ducks had, this one was cool. It had like that brown kind of beige or whatever top part, which was kind of different. It had the cool Mighty Ducks logo on the front. I paid $1 for this one, or $2 for this one at a garage sale, and it sold for $30, shipped on a best offer. It goes first class. Thought that was pretty good for a hat. 360, this is the gold chrome kind of a wireless controller. These ones always sell well. It's kind of hard to get a good picture because you can see the glare on there from where I was taking the picture at. But this one I got from one of my sources. I bought a bunch of video games and this was just thrown in there. And I ended up needing a new joystick. They were both kind of tattered and beat up, so I replaced the little joysticks with some that I have, and then I sold for $35 shipped, which was pretty good. Toro, this is one of the battery chargers from the Drill battery charger buy. This one sold for $28 shipped, so we've moved through most of those chargers and it's been super awesome. We have an easy cord, play the guitar. It's like a little system, I guess, to teach you how to play the guitar or whatever. This one was from the Rock and Roll buy as well. It sold for $15.99. It did go first class, so that was a good deal. I think it was missing the instruction manual, but it had all the pieces to use it. We have Molenex Regal La Machine number 2, I guess, food processor blade. This is a food processor I bought for $5 at a garage sale. I've had it for a long time, never got around to listing it because I put it in the death pile and I forgot I had it. And then I was going through the death pile, pulling stuff out, and I saw this food processor there, pulled it out, listed the bowl, the lid, and the blade. It did not have the pusher though, so still worth it though, because this blade sold for $20 shipped, and it sold within like 2 days. The blades always seem to do pretty well on the units, and then if you have a Cuisinart unit, the bowls and the lids and everything, they sell like great. But on the other machines, sometimes the bowls and lids are a little bit slower, but the blades usually sell pretty quickly. Screen Stars, this is a 50/50 shirt from the 80s, I believe. It sold for $28 shipped. I had $2.99 into it at thrift store. I bought a bunch of colored, different color Screen Star shirt. They have no like print on them, no logos or anything. They're just like a solid color shirt. I got like green, yellow, blue, purple. I got 2 greens, I think. And then I think I have one other color or something. And then I bought some Hanes Beefy from the 80s shirts that were gray. So it was a really good deal because a lot of them have sold for at least $20, but this one ended up getting $28 shipped on it. A Sony Handycam, I bought this with all those photo albums. You may have seen me sell a couple of those photo albums recently. This was in there as well. It did not have a charger. I think I had to order a charger for it. That was like $12. It ended up working and it sold for $110 shipped on a best offer. I had it listed at $125 or $130, something like that. So pretty good deal for Sony Handycam. A Rolls Bowl program, I paid $15 or $20 for this from one of my old sources. If you guys ever have watched me for a long time, you may have remembered me referring to Jersey Guy or Video Game Guy. It was the same guy. At first it was jerseys and then it became video games, and I bought a lot of stuff from him. He no longer sells to me. I don't know what happened, but he says he doesn't have any inventory anymore. He had this Rolls Bowl program. I think I paid $15 or $20 for it. I paid up. It finally sold on a best offer of $50. This one's from 1946, so pretty good deal. You know, it took a while to sell, but it's just a cool item that I'm going to pay up for no matter what, because I'm a sucker for sports stuff. And, you know, eventually it did sell, so it was worth it for me. Xbox 360 S model here. This one sold for $90 shipped. It's the 1439 console. It comes with a power cord and the HDMI cable. No games, no controllers. I do this a lot of times with my video games. I don't add a bunch of games to the video game system because I figure if someone wants the system, they may not want all those games there either. So maybe they'll pay more, maybe not. I usually take the games sold to sell the good ones individually, then I lot up the rest in like a wholesale lot and sell them off to someone who's going to sell them, you know, individually or whatever the case might be. So that's how I handle it. It seems to work for me. I still got $90 for this unit. Here is a Spanish, well, it's made in Spain. I put Spanish, I think it's Toledo or whatever. It's like a wall plaque. It's got 2 swords on there and like the little armor on the front. I don't know. There's no other markings on it. There's no way to know who made it. It might just be some kind of homemade piece that someone made and was selling. I got it for $5 from one of my sources one day when I bought it. I bought a bunch of stuff from him and he really wanted to sell this to me. I think I was at like whatever I was, the next $5 rounded up to an even $20 bill or whatever. So I ended up taking it and it finally sold for $45 shipped. I had a lot of offers on this thing for $30, $40, $50. And then either they wouldn't pay, they accept it and they wouldn't pay, or they would retract their offer or whatever, or they told me, one guy said he would pay in like 14 days, and I'm like, that's not going to work. And it just seemed like it was having a real hard time finally getting it sold. But then someone offered 45, I accepted, and they finally paid, and we got it out to them. Here's a Korn, The Path of Totality. This is a $10 CD. This came from the My Pet Monster buy. $10 on a used CD is pretty good, in my opinion, but yeah, $10 shipped on that. And a Lego Bionicle Toa Gali or Gali 8688. This is from the big $1,600 toy Lego video game buy from over a year and a half ago now, or whatever it is. This one ended up selling for $45, shipped on the best offer, had it listed at $65. I think I'm down to one more Lego set Bionicle from that buy, and we sold probably 10 or 12 of them. It was awesome. Destroy All Humans 2 for the Xbox. This also, I think, came from the buy where I got all the video games from that lady. This one sold for 13, shipped. And then Spartan Total War, I know that came from the lady that I bought. It was just the disc only. I put the case there, but looking at the picture, it's not really that great. I wish I would have taken the case out because it doesn't look great in my opinion, but it ended up selling for 12 shipped. So 12 shipped, and that for a disc only game is pretty good. Now, I don't remember who asked the question, so I'll try to pop it up on the screen. But the question basically implied, do you think, having a white background or cleaning up my background or whatever might increase sales or affect, the price I'm getting on stuff? That's what I gathered from the question, so hopefully you'll see on the screen. But I think white backgrounds do look nice. They're obviously very clean. That's what Google SEO, the search engine up or whatever it is, it wants to see white background items. And I believe that's a good thing, if you take the time to do that. I know some people have their own editing program and they do it. Some people just have a really nice white background setup. And then some people use the Google, I think, or the eBay app, I think, can change the photos for you as well. I don't like to use all that. Just one, it's a couple extra steps. I always felt when I had a white background, it never looked perfect. The lighting was even worse on it. It was like hard to balance it sometimes. And I've heard from some people, and I don't know how many of you have heard this or anything, that some people will say, well, when you have a white background, some people wonder if that's actually the item that they're getting, or if it's a stock generic photo because it just has the white background, it looks real fresh, but then maybe they're not sure if that's actually the item. So I know when someone looks at mine, they probably get the feel that it's the actual item because it's just a wood background or whatever. It's definitely done. You can kind of see that it's, not a stock photo, obviously, because it's not good enough to be one. So maybe that helps me get some sales. I don't feel like my sales, if you guys watch me and feel differently, let me know. I feel like my sales are pretty steady, pretty consistent. I know I have a lot in my inventory and I don't sell 1% of my items like some people do, but my business model is a little different. But I feel like my sales are real consistent. I don't feel like I'm getting less money because of my background. I don't feel like I'm missing out on sales, at least from my perspective. Maybe I am. Maybe you guys, like I said, think that I should do that, but it's working for me now. If you wanted to use the white backgrounds, I encourage you to do that. It's going to look real clean. If you don't want to, just try to make sure you have as clean a background as you can. Just make sure your photo's not blurry. I like the wood because it's bright enough, I think. It's not too dark, and it just seems to work for me. It's actually a workbench that I use. And I put a little background on it in the office that I'm in. And it's not perfect, I know that, but it seems to be working. Like I said, I can't really complain about the quantity or quality of my sales. I don't feel like I'm getting less money. And sometimes I feel like on video games and certain things, I'm getting towards the top dollar for stuff versus what other people are who may even be using a white background. So I don't see it necessarily hurting my sales, or at least not in a way that's obviously noticeable. So again, maybe I'm a little naive, or maybe I'm just too stubborn in my ways and this is the way I want to do it. But I encourage you to do whatever is best for you. They do look super clean and fresh when they've got the white background. It's just, for me, I'm happy with what I'm doing. So hopefully that answers the question. Again, if you have any feedback, feel free to let me know. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.